lights on. Use Airtel Money to pay for all your...
Up next on UBC, brought to you by...
Keep the lights on. Use Airtel Money to pay for all your Yaka bills conveniently. Open the My Airtel app to buy Yaka units. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
A very good afternoon to you tuned into UBC TV and welcome to our lunchtime news. My name is Micheal Jordan Lukomwa. In a first story this afternoon, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has declared tomorrow, Friday the 25th of June 2021, a public holiday and also a fourth national prayer session for interdenominational prayers as the country battles a rise in the coronavirus infections. Uganda has recorded 74,260 COVID infections and 752 deaths since March last year. But in the last 1 month, the number of infections have increased by 17-folds, whereas the number of deaths has also gone up more than doubled. President Museveni has used powers given to him under Section 2, Clause 2 of the Public Holidays Act to declare tomorrow a public holiday to enable the country hold prayers to seek for God's intervention in the ongoing COVID pandemic. The prayers will be held virtually at State House in Entebbe at midday, but the leaders of the various religious denominations will lead the prayers via Zoom. The born-again Christians, Pentecostals, and Evangelicals will base from Rubaga Miracle Center Cathedral. The Seventh-day Adventist Uganda Union will base at Chireka Hill. Catholics will base at St. Mary's Cathedral, Rubaga. The Orthodox will be at St. Nicholas Cathedral, Namongona, while the Protestants will be at All Saints Cathedral, Nakasero, and the Muslims at Gaddafi National Mosque, Old Kampala. Members of the public have been asked to attend prayers from their homes through radios, TVs, and social media channels that will relay the prayers live. The development comes a week after President Yoweri Museveni imposed a total lockdown of the country for 42 days as a measure to control the spread of the coronavirus. The strategy is to prevent these infections so that we have few infected people, if at all. The situation can be managed by minimizing the number of infections and give urgent care for the severely ill. Ministry of Health has received personal protective equipment worth millions from the government of Israel to boost the capacity of health workers in the fight against the pandemic. The personal protective equipment will be distributed to different health centers in the country since health workers are more at risk. The Honorary Consul of Israel to Uganda, Ishta Muganga, applauded the Israel support and appealed to Ugandans to strictly follow the standard operating procedures to minimize the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic.
The PPEs include face masks, N95, 3,000 pieces, surgical face masks, 22,000 pieces, coveralls, 451 complete pieces, surgical gloves, examination gloves, and temperature guns. This adds on what we already have. One of our strategy is to protect the health workers who definitely are in the front line. So we're going to distribute this in addition to what we have already to our health workers who are working in treatment centers and in facilities in the country. The distribution is going on. So this is a good gesture that Israel has shown. Health workers, just like all Ugandans, are at risk, but of course health workers are more at risk. We get health workers that have gotten infected from place of work, but also some of them get infected from home in the communities because COVID is everywhere. And so I think so far we've lost, in the last 1 month, we lost about 10, but not all of them got infected from place of work. but we have lost some health workers. And many have gotten infected and recovered, just like the general population.
Support the ministry in the fight against corona. So it is, as the gentleman elaborated, the various items, N95 masks and overall gowns, temperature gowns, and masks. Because they are friends of Uganda, so they've donated. They know we are going through a pandemic, a second wave. And I think as a person who you've had good relations with, if you hear that someone is in need, you extend a hand. Accept that this is a pandemic, it's a crisis. No one has a proper answer of how it happens or where it comes from. But we are told, observe SOPs, understand the lockdown. It's not a personal issue, it's an issue. It's a measure that has helped save many lives in many countries, and we just have to comply. Really request everyone, in whatever way you can, observe the SOPs. Don't leave if you don't have to.
The incoming Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi, pledged to strengthen and streamline the flow of information, especially in line with creating awareness of government programs to the public. Baryomunsi was accompanied by his two support ministers, Joyce Nabosa Sebugwao and Kabyanga Godfrey, where they were handed the ICT Ministry instruments of power at an event presided over by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of ICT and National Guidance.
She's safe, but only that one of our immediate family members tested positive, and is the reason she's unable to be here with us today.
The outgoing State Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Peter Ogwan, represented Judith Navakoba at the handover ceremony presided over by the ministry's Permanent Secretary, Waiswa Bajire.
On behalf of the ministry, I thank you so much for being appointed as the Minister of Information. Thank you and you're welcome. Please take over.
Ogwanga highlighted some of the milestones reached at during their tenure.
In terms of offering national guidance, the Department of National Guidance has held several regional consultative and session meetings, including civic education workshops on promotion of constitutionalism and good governance in a multi-party democracy.
He also outlined some of the challenges they faced in the last term of office.
A few challenges, of course, which I want to state here. Inadequate staff in several departments. This ministry is understaffed, and you must work hard to see how do we move in, both in IT, information, and also national guidance. That is needed. Inadequate funding for projects and regular budget cuts. This honorable colleagues, this ministry is an enabler ministry in terms of IT. But the challenges which we face is inadequate funding. So I want to challenge you. Now that you're here at 3, I'll be a very good supporter in cabinet, and as far as a good ambassador for this ministry, because I know what it can do for us now. So we need to see how do we push the budget of the ministry to be increased.
On his part, Dr. Chris Baryomunsi hailed their predecessors, Honorable Judith Navakoba and Honorable Peter Ogwang, for the foundation laid. Baryomunsi referred to their appointments as a calling to serve Uganda.
We needed to work together, and the President was very emphatic the other day at our handing over that we need the coherence in the government, and therefore we need to be coherent and work as a team, as a Ministry of ICT, meaning the headquarters here, but also the other departments and agencies which fall under the ministry, so that we have a coordinated team which can deliver for Ugandans.
Government has oftentimes been faulted when it comes to effective communication, and here Baryomunsi stresses that strengthening the information and communication chain will be top on their agenda.
Because most often we do things as the government, but then you hear people outside saying, what are you doing? The NRM government is doing nothing. When we work day and night to deliver services and work for Ugandans. So working as a team and strengthening the spokesman machinery of government in the various ministries and agencies, we are going to put a robust response in terms of communicating the work of government.
The new state ministers for ICT and national guidance, Joyce Nabosa Sebugwao, and state for guidance, Kabyanga Godfrey, pledged to provide service above self.
I'm impatient to work with all of you. I urge that we all focus on the possibility, our ministry vision, hard work, ambition, and forward-looking plans, because with all the responsibilities, the opportunities, and challenges that come with my position to serve all of us.
And obviously, we are coming here to fulfill the NRM manifesto and to support the president's programs. And that one, I'd like to pledge on our minister that we shall support you to do.
Robert Nyango, UBC News, Kampala.
Kisoro district has seen a sharp increase in the numbers of those testing positive with the COVID-19. In the last 5 days alone, the border district has registered 491 cases, and this is being attributed to the failure to observe the set standard operating procedures by the locals.
Kisoro district has registered a sharp increase in the numbers of people testing positive with COVID-19. In an exclusive interview with UBC TV, Kisoro district health officer Dr. Stephen Nsabiyunya indicated that if not checked soon, the situation in the area could easily spiral out of control.
Today we got 39 positives, fresh day, new positives. 14 in Kisoro Hospital out of 31, they are on oxygen, but most of them are responding well. Since we started at the meeting, we have recorded 3 deaths as of today.
Dr. Nsabiyunya adds that the reported cases are not isolated, but rather spread across the district.
Generally, the whole district is affected because these positive cases are coming from all the sub-counties. Especially those sub-counties also bordering the neighboring countries. They are also reporting high cases, especially towards the DRC. We are getting many cases from Zambia.
The main district hospital where COVID patients are currently being admitted is also grappling with shortfalls in oxygen for those in the ICU and inadequate beds, among others.
As we continue to get severe cases which require oxygen, it will be very difficult for us to manage these cases. We have been getting oxygen from Kalare Regional Referral Hospital, but as of now, they're telling us they are also overwhelmed. So,
meanwhile, there continues to be an utter disregard of the observancy of the set standard operating procedures at the numerous markets we visited. The police enforcement team has been deployed to oversee the observancy of the set guidelines.
News. We thank you so much for watching. Let's take this short break. Do not go anywhere.
Wait, Abu. Tunamaliriza. And what are you doing throwing papers all over the place?
I'm looking for an invoice for a sound system and cables that I received yesterday, but I can't find it.
You know there is a way of keeping all this in one place and available to you as and when you need it.
I really wish there was one, because the way these invoices grow legs and disappear.
I believe this is what you're looking for.
Now how did it get there?
Tabo! Do you know that with EFRIS, you can stay on track of all your business transactions and improve on your record keeping?
How so?
Kati tuli ku computer with Efris. I just search using the fiscal document number and I retrieve the records I'm looking for. Bookkeeping becomes simple after that.
Kapo, awesome, yeah.
I began using URS Kakasa Solutions and now I'm in charge of my business. And you can as well.
Kakasa, be sure you are in charge of your business.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.
Therefore, understanding this model. Excuse me, lady. Who do you think you are? A queen?
Hey, haven't you heard? Get Airtel Chillax bundles and browse like a queen.
Get Airtel Chillax bundles that do not expire and browse like a queen or king. Dial *175# or use My Airtel app.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field couldn't be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite shows.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Man, guess what happened yesterday? I entered the what? The taxi. But the pregnancy is from the what? The generator. Then my phone does tutu. And the toothbrush breaks in the what? In the porridge. Then I call who?
Wait, what?
First wait. I am still telling you. Then the jerrycan does what?
Love to talk? MTN My Paka Paka now has more minutes. Get My Paka Paka voice bundles to talk and talk at no extra charge. Dial *160*1# to activate My Paka Paka.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Echa COVID-19 chija kugwa. If we get vaccinated now, observe social distancing, wear a mask properly, sanitize or wash our hands with soap and water regularly. Together we can defeat this enemy.
Airtel Uganda has the best and most affordable rates when it comes to withdrawing and sending money. Withdraw money for as low as 330 shillings up to a maximum of 12,500 shillings. Sending money is just as affordable as ever. Absolutely unbeatable. Use Airtel Money on the most affordable network with the largest network of Airtel Money branches in Uganda. Dial *185# to get started. Airtel Money. Simple, secure, borderless.
What does it mean to be closer together? It's taking the last bus home for a surprise visit. Closer together is strangers finding a connection. It's bringing home something much more than a box. It's the warmth of home, or the beginning of something new. There's magic in sharing the things that we learn, because it's those things that bring us close together.
Man, guess what happened yesterday? I entered the what? the taxi. But the pregnancies from the what? The generator. Then my phone does toto. And the toothbrush breaks in the what? In the porridge. Then I call who?
Wait, what?
First wait, I am still telling you. Then the jerrycan does what?
Love to talk? MTN My Paka Paka now has more minutes. Get My Paka Paka voice bundles to talk and talk at no extra charge. Dial *160*1# to activate My Paka Paka.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
UBC Lunchtime News. Welcome back from the break. Migrant Workers Voice Network Association, a body agitating for the rights of Ugandan external laborers, is seeking to petition the Speaker of Parliament over the continued mistreatment of Ugandan external workers. At a media brief in Kampala, the association has lined, among other demands, the need to audit all recruiting companies, which they claim only target profits other than the working conditions of their clients.
For the last 15 years, Uganda's unemployment luggage, especially from the fresh graduates, has not only posed a burden to parents, but also a security threat to the country. The search for survival has made many youth to knock doors of the mushrooming labor exporting companies, though in the end, the story is alarming.
Hear a case of deportation, but there is no one to hear what is the reason as to why this individual is being deported. You hear a person who is being imprisoned, but there is no one to represent them wherever they are. But the only option is to deport Ugandans or imprison them without no clear reason.
Although external labor exporting business is legal and recognized by Ugandan government, loopholes and negative concerns continue imaging the industry.
For example, Ugandans who are being exported like bananas are contributing to the revenue of Ugandans. Why can't we give a chance to Ugandans who are working abroad as migrant workers to be considered, their representation to be part of the recruitment process?
Migrant Workers Voice Network Association, an entity agitating for the rights of the external laborers, is now raising the red flag to the government.
A call for immediate halting of the move by the Ministry of Gender to increase external labor licensing fees. This simply justifies human trafficking as the only and quickest, cheap way to exit the country.
They now continue reminding Ugandan authorities that many of its external laborers working abroad are enslaved.
I've got cases where Ugandans die and they carry them like dogs knocked on the way. And today is a day we feel we need the government to give us a second chance to be heard. It's not something that you just look at and walk over. This is something that is so serious. So today we are having the message to reach to Parliament to give us a consideration on issues, give us a consideration to be included on issues concerning recruitment of migrant workers.
On top of this, they are now petitioning the Speaker of Parliament to give utmost attention to these matters.
The petition also calls the Ministry of Gender to give accountability of the previous insurance and compensation policies, which is a worker's right and ought to be effected from the first day of effecting the working contract, and to clearly indicate where in standard employment contract and in the bilateral was the insurance of migrant workers mentioned.
Migrant accuses many external labor companies for aiming at only profits and the Ministry of Gender for paying a deaf ear to these challenges. Robert Onyango, UBC News, Kampala.
Thank you so much, Robert Onyango, and that story brings us to the end of all we had for you this afternoon. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Micheal Jordan Lukomwa with the whole newsroom. Wish you the best of the afternoon. Let's get back to you now. The bulletins, Luganda, Kiswahili, and English in the night. For now, bye-bye.
guess what happened yesterday?